The one thing that I like to ask most of my guests, which I got to ask you, if there's someone out there watching this at home who has never seen you before, they have no idea who you are, how would you explain yourself to them?
I'm an anomaly. Like, I'm not, and I don't say that in an egotistical way. I'm just like, I think that a lot of people, when they first see me, they don't really know how to make sense of me. I think I'm a bit abrasive to people because they're like, okay, I can't tell if this dude is old or if he's young. He looks old as hell. He looks like life done kicked that ass, but he dresses like he's in middle school. He looks like he's white, but he kind of like has like this like black affectation when he talks, and he like hangs out with like a bunch of essays too. So I know I throw people off, and they don't really know, because I know if I saw myself, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? And I wouldn't know how to categorize myself. And normally when I'm unable to make an assessment, I'm like, I put you in the weird category and I don't like you. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people do that. I think the more people see me, they get used to me a little bit, and then they decide if they like me or if they don't. But I know that I think the main thing that I would try to impress upon to somebody that doesn't know me is that I mean no harm. You feel me? Like, I'm a loving soul at the end of the day, and I try to I want to leave this place better than I found it.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
I
really do, genuinely.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a normal human thing to want to do, unless you're kind of fucked up.
Well, although my actions don't lend itself to necessarily,
of course,
supporting that ideal.
I think, drug addiction changes who you are as a person, though, for sure. I think when I look back at a lot of the shit that I used to do when I wasn't sober, I look back at that and I'm like, I cringe thinking about it. I get uncomfortable. I'm like, wow, like, I really fucked up. Like, some of the shit I said to my family members and shit, I'm like, damn.
Well, it trips me out because, like, how the lack of self-awareness, even that'll vary from day to day. You know what I mean? Like, so since I came back to No Jumper, there was a period of time where I was doing a bunch of uppers. Like, I was microdosing meth, basically. Like, I was like literally like eating like a 0.2 or like 0.3 of meth in the morning when I get up, and I'd just be like super. It basically would hit me like Adderall, though. I'm not.
And that's a microdose for you?
Yeah, I think that is a microdose.
I don't know anything about meth dosing.
Well, it's like
that's one of the ones I've never tried.
Well, it's not the typical way that people consume meth.
Yeah,
people
you smoke
snort
it
or smoke it. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing that.
You ate the fucking little rock.
Just take a little bit. You feel me? And and then I wouldn't realize like how intense I was, and I'm just like interrupting Brick Baby and Adam, and then like I look back the next day, I'm like, bruh, it wasn't that serious. Like, I'd come home and go to my girl, like, what's up, girl? Like this, and she'd be like, yo, like, are you all right? Like, what's going on with you, bruh? You high? I'm like, no, I'm not high.
You're just fucking intense. They knew something was up.
Yeah. So there's been different periods of use. I stopped doing that. And it's been like the downers recently more. But what I will say is I think it's great that I'm on this pod right now, and it's a good cautionary tale, good, bad, and ugly, because
100%.
I'm in the midst of like, I'm going through it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had no clue that you had relapsed. When I had done my research for this episode, I have no clue if you've like talked about this publicly before. You relapsed?
I have, but not as candidly as we're going to right now.
Yeah. And I think it's an important thing for people to hear. Honestly, probably 50% of the stuff I had written for this is fucking mute now. It's irrelevant.
Well, we might be able to. You'd be surprised because I was sober for a while, so I could go back to. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel you.
Well, I think the relapse is even more important for people to hear about.
I think
arguably,
it is too.
Because there's a lot. The relapse is always worse. It's always worse. Like when you go through that period of sobriety and then you relapse, you're going hard as fuck on that relapse. It's not like when you first started doing that drug, you're doing this little bit, you're immediately jumping back into whatever the fuck you're doing before.
Right.
You know?
To be honest, because such a long period of time had passed, I kind of had to start slower because I'll tell you about the relapse.
Fill me in.
Okay, I'll tell you about the actual relapse. And one thing I want to say that really bothered me when I was sober and still bothers me is that maybe because I've taken so many drugs, and maybe because the fact that people associate me with drugs so much, even when I'm sober, people be like, this fool's on tweak. Like, this fool's tweaking right now. He looks fucked up. Look how fucked up he looks. I can tell he's fucked up. But I'm sober. That shit really bothered me a lot. I just wanted to put that out there. Now, my exact relapse. So what happened was, at first, I told you, I watched that video, and I was like, I need to reclaim this energy. I need to get this guy back. I need that guy
right
back.
there.
Yeah. He's super cool. He wears bright colors. Where's he at? You know what I mean?
That's the homie.
That's the homie. He can hit the blunt. And in fact, we could tag team a bitch. You feel me? Like, I don't even do that. Yeah.
That's Eiffel Tower, dog.
Yeah. So, at first, I was like, I should do some psychedelics. I'm gonna get like a hotel room by the beach and like do some shrooms and like reconnect.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. I'm glad I didn't do that. It would have been way too intense. Because what I did, I went to the dispensary. You know, people like, we ain't got to pay for weed, but I went to the dispensary, spent like $70 on an eighth straight custy prices. Like, give me the most super.
You want the craziest super exotic thing.
Yeah. And because I didn't even heard the word Zaza before. When I went to rehab, Zaza wasn't a word. I came out, all these kids are talking about, where's the Zaza? I miss Zaza. This is hurting my feelings. So I was like, give me the top of the top shelf. I should have just been like, give me the boof pack, bruh. Shoot the mid. You know what I mean? Please, because this was way too much. You know what I mean? Like, so I get the weed, and my bitch is like, we need to go to Walmart. I'm like, all right, for sure. We go to Walmart. So we're in the Walmart parking lot. I just bought a new bong. Just bought this $900 eighth. You feel me? Pack a bowl. Put on Cypress Hill, the music I used to listen to in 7th grade when I would smoke weed, and took a bong hit. And by the time like I'm exhaling the second bong hit, I'm like, oh, this is like way more intense than I remember, because I haven't been on anything, bro. I haven't been outside my body in so long.
And taking a fat bong rip, like, that hits too.
It did,
That's nothing like just one tap off the joint. You know?
Nah, yeah. And I got lungs, you feel me? So yeah, that bitch smacked me. And of course, where am I now? I'm teleporting through Walmart, literally like the dregs of society.
Yep.
The low, like, if you could just take a cross section of the lowest common denominator that America has to offer and crystallize it into its purest form, it's Walmart. And here I am walking through Walmart. I'm looking at my girl. I'm like, damn, my bitch got a hella tattoos. She even got tattoos on her face. This is crazy. Like, then I'm like, look at all these pieces of shit. Like, they know I'm high. What if I fall over? Like, I'm like literally.
They're all high too.
Yeah. They're all like, yeah. You see this motherfucker? Yeah. Like, and then there was one point I get cotton mouth, and you know, I'd recently gotten fake teeth put in. You feel me? I got dental bridges. These motherfuckers ain't real. I done smoked my teeth out way before that. You feel me? So
wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's some heavy shit.
Yeah. So my teeth are like kind of feeling weird, and I have super cotton mouth. So I'm not used to it because I hadn't been sober for a long time. So I start like licking my whole lips and face, and as I'm doing that, there's like this like 70-year-old senora, like this old like Latino woman walking by looking right at me, and I just realized that I'm like giving her like the licking my chops, like I want to eat her out. And she's looking at me like, I need to go to ideas me. I'm going to church right now. Like, you feel me? It was all bad. I'm like, yeah, but and then I just didn't stop. A few hours later, I had a glass of wine, and it's been cracking ever since, brother.
So it was really just the bong rip that set you off.
The bong, but it wasn't the bong rip that set me off.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in your mind, it had been going a lot before that.
Correct.
But the actual action of that night, it seems like that bong rip just completely sent you on a whole different plateau.
It did.
Like, you were gone.
It did.
You were
There
gone.
and then like I had, you know, a lot of people say there's nothing worse than a body full of alcohol and a head full of AA. Like when you've been in recovery for years and you relapse, for some reason, I was able to compartmentalize my emotions. You know, I was just like, you guys are dead to me. I stopped talking to all my sober like homies, not all my sober homies, but my AA homies. If you're a part of like the 12-step program, I don't want to see you. I mean,
once you relapse, it's hard to be around those people.
Yeah.
You know, I went to NA. It didn't really work for me, so I didn't go very long. But I remember like, I was still going hard, and I'd show up to those meetings, and I'd be high, and I'd just look around and be like, yo,
this ain't
can't
it.
fucking be here.
Totally.
We take a cigarette break like twice during the meeting, and the first one I'm out that bitch.
Yeah, no, Fishowski, you're lucky if you make it to the cigarette break.
Yep.
I need restroom over here. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, cigarette break was a good night.
Yeah, yeah. That shit was all bad. And but as far as like, so I just started smoking weed, and then like I kind of had to retrain myself how to get high. You know what I mean? Be like, I didn't know what my tolerance was. I didn't know once I start feeling like this, stop drinking. You know what I mean? And so I kind of had to. I'm like green again. I'm like a 14-year-old kid essentially when it came to drug use. And
Yeah, just getting high as fuck.
getting high as fuck, and I kind of you know, like at first, like my girl was super worried, and she was like, "Dude, like, what are you doing?" I remember this is how warped I was. Maybe it was like the second or third day of me getting high, and she went to work like a regular person, and I'm like, "Oh, she's probably gonna think it's cool, you know, if she sees me like drinking a michelada." You feel me? She's like from Guatemala. She probably will think that like that's like really cultural.
You're
of
respecting
me.
her culture.
Yeah,
Right there. You're taking it on.
Yeah, mango michelada at that. You feel me? And she came home and she's like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're still in your boxers drinking? Like, what the fuck? Get a life, loser!" Like, dude, like, I'm like, what? But mango michelada.
It's your culture.
Yeah.
Come on.
And she's like, "Nah, my culture is we get up with the sun and work, motherfucker." You feel me? Like, and you know, she's actually been, I think for sure, if I didn't have her in my life, I don't know where this trajectory would have taken
Y'all are still
me.
together.
Yeah.
She's holding it down for you.
Yeah, she's thugging it out with the player.
Damn.
She's
I
thugging
mean,
it out.
you know, it's a tough situation because getting sober for other people never works. Like,
don't.
you got to do it for you, you know? Do you want to get sober? Like, have you ever thought in your head, like, oh, I do want to get that again? Or are you just having fun?
I don't want to feel like I feel, but I don't want to, like, the idea of being sober doesn't sound cool, but I don't want to keep, like, I feel like shit. My body is shutting down. Like, when people see me, I'm on camera, I might seem like I kind of have it together, but that's really just, like, the feigned period of functionality between me being completely just, like, useless as a human being. And that's how I spend most of my time, just like wanting to lay down, you know what I mean? Like not wanting to talk or interact with people.
Yeah, and I mean,
like,
that's a dangerous cycle, bro, because you get stuck in that, like, oh, I feel like a piece of shit. I'm going to take more. I'm such a piece of shit. Now you feel like a bigger piece of shit, and you are being a bigger piece of shit, and it's just this cycle of, like, it's tough to break.
That's the thing. It's the bad decisions that I wind up subsequently making that make it worse.
They keep
and then
piling
it starts
up.
piling. And even when I have blessings, like cool things happening, like, you know, like the No Jumper thing going well. And then I got a deal for my own studio and to build my channel. And I've been having a hard time doing that because it's hard for me to even like focus. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to get my head out of my ass long enough to even execute these coherent ideas that I have and all that. So it's been difficult, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, relapsing is fucking hard, bro. And trying to balance, it sounds like as many things as you're trying to do with having your own studio, making your own content, and doing No Jumper, and relapsing, like, you can't balance all that. You know? You only got 2 hands. You need 3 for that. You know, something's got to get dropped. Sounds like.
And then there's a gang of then there's the whole. You feel me? I producing a bunch of artists, executive producing their albums. There's I have my sync and licensing hustle that I do with music. So there's so much different things. And I'm basically, you know what it's like when you have a million tasks and you're like basically half-assing all of them and you're eventually able to pretty much accomplish nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like damn near, I'm afraid that's like where this goes. But I don't want to get sober. So it's like this weird place that I'm in right now of like,
bro, it's
sobriety
really tough.
limbo.
I mean, for me, all I'm gonna say is, like, when I first got sober, I don't think I really wanted it either. I did it out of fear, you know, like I did it because I was like pretty scared of dying at that point, you know, and I didn't want to die, not because I was like, oh, life is so great. I just didn't want to die because I was like, bro, I just don't want to do more blow. You know, like I was like, fuck, if I just take a break, then I'll come back and I can get high as fuck without having a heart attack. You know, like I'll buy myself more time to get high as fuck. And through that, you know, I kind of realized that sobriety is great, but it's because of the things that I was able to get done in sobriety that during my drug use, I always thought that I was so productive. Like I would get geeked up and think like, oh, I'm getting so much done. And then I realized the shit I got done, I rushed it and did wrong, you know, and then I didn't do a bunch of shit that I forgot about because I got too fucked up for the rest of the night, you know?
That's it. And then at a certain point, you stop even caring. And it's crazy because if I bring myself back to 25 years old. When I was 25 years old, that's right before shit started cracking for me on YouTube with the battle rap. I was just going really hard. I was living up in the Bay Area. I had this whole hip hop dream, and like I felt like the world was ahead of me. And this is after I had already been to 10 treatment centers and been locked up and been at like but it's crazy because I thought that all the bullshit was behind me, but really I hadn't even started fucking up yet. It's crazy. It like doesn't get better if people keep going on that path. It's a miracle I'm still alive and we're even able to have
really
this conversation,
is by the sounds
bro.
of it. And it's really interesting that like you're very self-aware about all of it. Like you know how bad your drug addiction is, it sounds like. I mean, I don't know you super well personally at all, so I don't know how hard you're going. You could be bullshitting me right now for all I know, but I don't think you are, you know? And like it sounds like you know how bad it's impacting you and how you can't get the shit done and how it's fucking up your health, but it sounds like you can't stop either.
It's
it's
weird. Can't stop, won't stop. Bad boy. No Diddy. When I was what happened was I look, earlier today I did a fucking line. I did a line of blow this, and I had no desire to. In fact, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to. One of my partners.
Why'd you do it?
One of my partners showed up, and there was a plate of blow, and it was there.
Fuck.
And he asked me if I wanted a line, and I said no. And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, yeah. And I did a line. I was like, I know I'm going on this big podcast. You feel me? Like to talk about drug addiction. This is 2 hours before I got here.
Yeah.
And I find myself doing a line at 10 in the morning on a motherfucking.
Honestly, fitting for this show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is. But that's how candid I'm being with my And last night I took 3/4 of a bar and drank myself to sleep because I'm so stressed up. Because I have a gang of bills and debt, and I'm just like, the boy is in the midst of. Like y'all are
shit right now.
Y'all are catching me at a raw moment. That's what I was kind of like.
Yeah.
This is kind of lit. I might as well just unload everything on Goblin's pod because.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, the audience is gonna really appreciate this, and they're gonna relate to a lot of this. I think this is important for a lot of people to hear, bro. And you know, it sounds like you really care about the comments, you know. And I hope you go back and I hope you read these comments because I think they're gonna be really, really supportive.
Lush is a junkie.
Well. Everyone watching is probably a fucking junkie too. We go hard over here, you know. But I mean, I think a lot of people are going to relate to your story, and it sounds like the addiction's impacting you every fucking way. I mean, you have financial problems. You're talking about. You said your body's shutting down. What are the health impacts that you're dealing with right now?
So the biggest issue I have physically, and I will attribute this to my addiction to a degree, and I can tell you exactly why. Is I have sciatica. Do you know what that is?
No, what is that?
Sciatic nerve. It's basically like a nerve at the bottom of your spine that connects like to your whole entire leg.
Oh, God,
and if
this
that's
sounds painful.
It's like the worst thing ever. You feel me? Like it's like the most. Me having sciatica, like I'm like Larry David. You know what I mean?
Like a pinched nerve by the side. Is everything
good? I have a pinched nerve, and which a lot of it comes from doing this, like high impact podcasting.
Oh my God!
This is insane. Okay, I don't know what y'all got. Happening? What y'all got going on?
Should we pause? We just lost the whole computer monitor. All right. Well, yeah. All right. Either way.
So the sciatic thing. So basically, I was taking. I love ecstasy. That's one of my favorite drugs. And I noticed one day after I was rolling, my back felt a little wonky, and then for the past month, I can't sleep for more than 3 hours without my leg being completely inflamed and just waking up in excruciating pain.
Fuck. So how long have you had that?
It's been about a month and change. Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. Right now I'm in pain.
What do they give you for that?
So essentially, first I went to a chiropractor. Then the next step is going to be I need to go to a motherfucking get an MRI, and they're going to see what is it pushing on. Is it really just a slip disc or a herniated disc, or do I have a fucking big cluster of AIDS or what? I don't know. That's hopefully it's not a big cluster of AIDS.
That's got to be bottom of the list.
Most likely a cluster.
That's a lot of AIDS.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of AIDS. But most likely it's a slip disc, and then they'll either give me some kind of cortisone injection. It's some bullshit, bruh. It sucks.
That sounds horrible.
It sucks.
What else have you dealt with?
Health wise, I'm just like, I'm always tired.
Really?
Never have any energy. You know what I mean? And I attribute that to the Xanax. And
Being a drug addict is tiring, bro. Mm-hmm. It really is.
and I'm really, my favorite thing to do is be asleep. I don't want to be. I hate being awake. I hate doing stuff. I hate the feeling of waking up and then thinking of all the impending doom of like the chaos that I've created. The 5 different phone calls of people like, hey, what's up? Do you have that money yet?
Yeah.
The creditors, the fucking, the rent's due. Like,
My credit's still shot.
you know what I mean? Like,
bad.
damn, I have to go. I have to in 6 hours be on no jumper. Like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and I don't want to fuck up because I love being on no jumper and I love podcasting. I don't want to stop doing this. I have not missed an episode since I started back there. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, it means so much to me and I'm so grateful and I want to do good and I want to be entertaining and I want to be somebody that people are interested in my opinion. I want this useless information that I've spent the past 42, by the time y'all see this, 43, because my birthday's on the 18th.
Hell yeah, happy early birthday.
Thank you, brother. Accumulating. I want it to not be for nothing. Because this is what I'm supposed to do with all this bullshit information, this pop culture, this entertainment, this art, this hip hop that's just been, just crammed into my skull, knocking out the quadratic formula and anything that might be, not that the quadratic formula is useful, but anything that might be of any use or substance to me. By the way, x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That's a quadratic formula, bitch.
I don't know
so
that
it's
shit.
still in my motherfucking head. I'm just saying, I just want this to not be for nothing. And I really care about it. And I'm at a scary point. You know what I mean? I'm at a scary point.
Do you realize that like shit's gonna hit the fan at some point at the path you're going, right?
Yeah. And I kind of I think that I narrowly will escape at the last minute. It's been my pattern. Like I'm like Steph Curry when it's like 1 second left.
It's
You
just
feel me?
so interesting to me to hear you like acknowledge this pattern and like still go for it.
Yeah,
like you're like, yeah, I do this every time. I fuck this up. Like, have you? It sounds like you probably have actually. I could probably answer my own question. You probably have at some point thought to yourself like, oh, I need to do something different. But it sounds like there's a disconnect between what you're thinking and what you're actually doing.
Yeah, like wanting to do something different. Like I don't even know what that would entail. Like I think that like, okay, could I get off the Xans? Yes, I've been way deeper in the woods. Like this is not the most fucked up I've ever been.
Yeah.
It's like one of the, I would say, top 10 most stressful situations I've been in as far as like the pickle that I put myself in as far as situationally. However, I've been way more strung out. And I know I could get off of it. It might entail me going to like an outpatient or something like that, or weaning myself off the Xans and stuff. But like, I could get off of it. I just don't know what everything else looks like. And I don't know what even that looks like. And I don't even know if I truly even want that in my heart. Like I just want things to be better. You know what I mean? I just want to feel better.
If you don't want
I know
it,
this sounds insane, dude.
I mean, no, yeah, 100%. But I also, I get exactly where you're coming from because, like, I get it. I'm a drug addict too, you know? And even when you get sober, you're still always a drug addict, you know? Like, I'm still a coke addict, bro. Like, you put a plate in front of me right now, I'm going. You know?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. It happened to me
like,
earlier.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
You put a plate in front of me right now, I'm going. But also, that's why, like, I stay away from that shit, you know? Like, a lot of my homies that still do that stuff, like, the only reason they still kick it with me is because they don't bring it around me, you know? Have you ever, like, I mean, this is your hometown, bro. So
Yeah.
that makes it harder. Like,
Yeah.
you're born and raised L.A.
Yeah.
And you started doing drugs hella young. So, like, you know your way around. You know where to get shit here,
Bruh.
probably. Very well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, does that make it a lot harder for you to try to disconnect yourself from that? Do you ever try to disconnect yourself?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But the reality is, like they say, the old cliche goes, wherever you go, there you are. You know, and people call it a geographical in the 12-step programs when you try to relocate yourself to run from your problems. And look, yeah, LA is a fucking cesspool, especially the west side where I'm from. And it's because not only like is there some hood shit going on, it's because there's a lot of money and all like
So much.
You know what I mean? Like the affluence. And I think me growing up in a privileged family just made it 100 times worse. And that safety net created, like, maybe without that, I would have died. I don't know. But it also maybe gave me this false sense of invincibility that I could just continue to thrive despite whatever circumstances are going on. But trip out on this, bro.
Okay.
Trip out on this. So I grew up pretty privileged. You know what I mean? Grew up pretty privileged. My two best friends growing up, both their families were richer than mine. You know what I mean? Like, they made, like, my family's crib look like it was the projects because these fools are like the Fresh Prince of Brentwood.
There's always someone a level above.
Yeah. Yep. And these are like my two homies. One of them I knew since preschool, the other one since kindergarten. And from like kindergarten to 10th, 11th, they was like my best homies. Both these motherfuckers died in the past 2 years from drugs and, you know, a self-unaliving. You know what I mean?
I mean, doing this shit as long as you have, you've probably lost a lot of people, dude.
Oh my God, I lose people all the time. But the weird thing to me is like, I know so many people from so many different walks of life, and like so many people that I've met in my subsequent travels being involved in hip hop, which led me all through the streets and being, you know, I've experienced poverty and extreme wealth. I've been through all of it. Self-imposed, as you may, you know, like, yeah, I didn't have to go the path I did. I never had to, but I did. And that's the path I wound up on. And it just trips me out that so many kids I know that grew up middle class or grew up even, you know, below that did so much better. Like, all like 90% of the rich kids I grew up with are fucking failures, or completely dependent on their parents, or they're dead. This shit's gnarly.
Yeah. I grew up, so for me, I grew up in a very affluent area, but like my mom was very poor. She just got like the cheapest condo in the affluent area so I could go to school with those kids. And I grew up with a lot of those kids, and all of my friends who I did drugs with who were very, very well off growing up are completely fucked right now. Like, they are strung out. I have a buddy right now who's like deep in a fent right now. Like, he's probably genuinely going to die soon, which is like terrible to say, but like, it's the reality of it, you know? And like, a lot of my other friends, because they grew up in that privilege, they don't have any like drive to do anything else. I think that really does kind of fuck with your drive growing up in that privilege. It's like, when you go off and you get into the real world, you realize like, wait, I'm doing this and making how much fucking money? Fuck this shit, dude.
Right.
Like, I'm good. I'm going home, you know?
Right. Well, you don't value money. You don't have the same,
not
like,
at all.
like, we're not trying to, because I wasn't taught. And like, this is going to come across to people as like, oh, feel bad for me, I'm a rich kid, which is the lamest shit ever. There's no sympathy that should be had for me or anybody else that, you know, does this. I'm not asking for that. I'm not looking for that, but I am trying to provide insight into the psyche, because people are like, you had it so good. How could you possibly fuck it up? But like, I never was really taught about what to do with money or how to build credit or anything. It was just a non-issue. Just pursue your dreams, Nick. You're going to be fine. You know, be great. Be the best version. We want to see you win. And that's what my family, they were very supportive. And that's kind of, I think I spent a great deal of time in my life trying to help other people get money and trying to put other people on. And when I would get a bag, like, that's why with the battle rap thing, you brought up like hosting battles. I dropped so much of the money that I was hustling from slanging peas and just like serving whatever dope I had at the time, and just whatever money I came across in my life, I put millions of dollars literally into battle rap, you know, putting money in other people's pockets. Because I feel like, damn, God's helped me so much. I was born getting helped. I feel like I should help people. You know what I mean? And it's not done from like this altruistic perspective of like, I'm this fucking great Buddha of a human that just wants, it's just like, I kind of just was naturally what I felt inclined to do as a human being. And then at a certain point, I didn't realize like, oh shit, like, I'm like, the plane's crashing. I put the oxygen mask on everybody else. There's no oxygen mask for me. I'm gonna motherfucking die now. And that's, I think,
so I'm going to make a little observation. I just want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. It sounds like, just from hearing that you kind of use being giving and doing that partially as a tool to like not really focus on or worry about your shit and not your addiction.
Yeah. I think that there's, I mean, just anything to distract myself from or even like create this, perpetuate this illusion that I'm somehow on the right path or doing the right thing. And if there's people, because look, this is something else I learned through recovery and the steps. And there's the third step, and I'm not trying to be like a 12-step thumper or whatever, and that's why I'm not being specific to a program, because the steps are non-denominational, right? It talks about I'm relinquishing my power to somebody great, like to a God or a higher
Someone
power
greater than me. Yeah.
right? And in doing that, I realize when I try to be a good person, I'm not necessarily doing it because I really want to help people. It's a part of me. It's an ego thing. I want you to think that I'm a great person.
Yep.
And like, damn, if it was because of Lush that I got this. It was because of Lush that this happened. Lush put me on. And then I have that forever. And that's pretty fucking twisted.
Yep.
That's not like giving from a genuine place. Like, so like, yes, there is like a genuine altruism in my soul, and then there's like the drug addict arrogance, and I am self-aware enough to see that there is a little bit of crossover.
I used to do similar stuff where like I would be very giving with my drugs with my friends. So, like when I buy a bag of weed, all my friends would smoke that shit down damn near more than me, you know? And it was my way of feeling good and feeding my ego. I thought it was like, oh, I'm just a giving guy. But like, now that I'm sober, I don't do that shit, you know? Like I'm good to people, and like I'm cool with that, and I'm cool with myself. But I used that, and I recognized it pretty quickly into my sobriety that like I used to do that shit, and I'd use it as a crutch because I felt so bad about myself.
Yeah.
You know, I hated who I was, you know, and I just would constantly distract myself from that. I was like, yo, I can't think about myself. But it's weird seeing and hearing you talk a lot about your addiction and talk about yourself very introspectively and very straight up, but also like you smile about it, and you like, you know, it seems like you kind of laugh it off, and like almost like you take it seriously, but you don't at the same time.
Well, it's just
like almost as a way to like deal with it. It seems like.
Well, yeah, it's become normalized to me, bro.
Yeah.
This is the majority of my life. I'm 43 years old. I've been struggling with addiction since I was 12. Even before then, I had the tendencies. I knew what drugs were since I was a little ass kid. This is like the totality of my existence. Is got this tint of addiction on it. You know what I mean? It just colors to the point where I'm not even aware of me laughing it off. It's because it's second nature. I'm genuinely unaffected because at a certain point you have to remove yourself emotionally, or else I'm just going to be fucking crying all day, because I'm literally, you know what I mean? It's a very terrifying thing. And then also, like, back to the helping other people thing, I realized that you're right, it does distract me from my own internal issues, but then also like now forever this person is like in debt to me. It's like this weird psychological thing. I don't know, man. It's got a lot of levels to it.
I mean, fuck. It seems like you got a lot of shit on the plate. You know, I mean, to say the least. It seems like you got a lot of shit on the plate, and like almost you're definitely, I can just tell by talking to you, you're not ready to get sober for sure.
Nah.
Like you're not getting sober anytime soon, bro. Like I can kind of get that vibe.
You're wise beyond your years.
I mean, you know, I'm just, all my friends, I grew up with a lot of people, and I think drug addiction is similar no matter how long you've been doing it or how old you are. You know, like I've heard people say the same shit to me that you're saying right now that are half your age, you know?
Right. Well, here's the thing. Here's the reality. Motherfuckers are going to do drugs until they have no more moves to bust.
Yes.
If you ain't got no more play, if you ain't got somebody you can call that will loan you some bread or this or that, and there's just like, that's what made me go to rehab. I had no more moves to bust. My bitch was cutting me off. She was living in Philadelphia. I'm stuck in LA. You feel me? My parents ain't trying to give me no money. My friends don't want me around.
Yep.
But my brother like, you could go to rehab. I'll pay for you to go to rehab. Like, sounds good to me, brother. It's either that or, you feel me, like, I don't know. You feel me? I'm trying to jack people. I don't know where it goes from there. Like,
people say you got to hit rock bottom to get sober, and that shit's for real.
Well,
like,
yeah, it's
actually
literally
have to hit rock bottom.
And what does rock bottom look like? You could be rock bottom, because I live in a nice apartment, but I'm right near MacArthur Park. I walk outside, I see I'm in zombie land. You know what I mean? Like is that rock bottom for them, or do they feel like they still got a few moves to bust?
Yeah.
Because they still out there doing it.
Seems like they still got some moves in their heads.
In their heads, whatever that looks like. And the other thing, what I wanted to say earlier, as far as like the being giving thing, it's very bad. And I realize this too. Like, I want to help people, but like someone will tell me that they like one of my battle rap homies would be like, yo, I want to do a battle. Can you get me 15 bands to do this battle? And I'll say yes. So now, because I want them to be like, Lush is the man, Lush can help me, even though I have no ability to actually execute.
You
that
can't
for
follow
them.
through on that shit.
I can't. So now, not only like maybe I got 5 seconds of taking pressure off of them and they feel good for them, but then they're going to be in twice as bad of a predicament when I inevitably can't come through, and they're going to be pissed off at me. And then it's like, so I'm scrambling to try to make all these promises happen, you know? I'm like Santa Claus thinking I got the infinite fucking Christmas basket, but Donner and Blitzen are already on Zans.
Fuck, dude. I mean,